just because it was all over Twitter and social media and everyone could see what was going on. Whereas with Dwight Howard, it was all kind of behind closed doors. No one really knew what the heck was going on. And with LeBron, it was just an hour on TV and then a lot of jerseys being burned in Cleveland. But this DeAndre Jordan thing was insane. It was banana land.
Yeah, for me, I thought DeAndre Jordan was a Maverick. I didn't even I was like, all right, time to go elsewhere, look at other stuff.
Right.
Little did I know it was about to get really crazy. I think this is one of the most exciting ones I've seen, and we'll see. Is this it? Maybe he's decided to go back to Dallas. We'll never know.
If he went back to Dallas, I don't know what would happen. The world would implode. That would be absurd.
I think he's under contract, so what if he just...
I mean, hypothetically, you know what I'm saying.
What if somehow he goes in and it comes out that he wants to request a trade to Dallas?
That's what I'm saying. It would just be ridiculous.
Decide to request a trade and he gives him 2 options or something.
Can you imagine what the Clippers-Mavericks game is going to be like next season?
The fans are going to be brutal. It's going to be...
And not just that, but the media coverage before the game, it'll be everywhere.
In Dallas especially. In Dallas, oh my God.
Oh, absolutely. In Dallas...
I would be careful.
I mentioned this to you before we went on air, but there's a video of a Mavericks fan just going ballistic on everyone affiliated with DeAndre Jordan.
I would be very careful. I'd be very careful if I was DeAndre Jordan because you could get something thrown at you. I'm not kidding. I wouldn't surprise me if there's an angry Mavericks fan who decides to throw something at him.
Dude, the guy in the video was like, you better be careful or someone's going to slash your knees, and then he backed out and he was like, oh, wait, I'm not saying I'll do that. That wasn't a threat. Like, these guys are pissed. Because the Mavericks went from a possible playoff contender to hopeless. I think they're going to suck next year. Mm-hmm. Well, it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Well, here's some real stupidity, and this is a little depressing. This is our third topic here, but 4th of July is normally a celebratory time. Unfortunately, NFL players have decided let's play with fireworks, and the finger count is now at 3 lost fingers: 2 by C.J. Wilson. And 1 by, I really didn't write it here, former first-team All-Pro lost his fingers in fireworks. That's Jason Pierre-Paul, by the way, his index finger. For C.J. Wilson, this is a lot more costly, because this is a guy who's an undrafted free agent, really hasn't done much, and he just lost 2 fingers in the most idiotic way possible. Because if this ends his NFL career, can you imagine the depression that this guy could go into, knowing that you cost your career on something as stupid and as trivial as playing with fireworks?
Yeah, I know.
It's just so irresponsible.
And I mean, if you look at these 2 guys, I think it's obviously a lot more detrimental to C.J. Wilson just because he is a cornerback. I mean, he's not with a team right now, and with a cornerback, it sounds absurd that I'm saying this with NFL players who are full-grown men, but like, you can't just go losing 2 of your 10 fingers if you're a cornerback.
Oh my God, what's his name? The guy who got their finger like literally smushed last year. There was a player whose finger literally got like torn off and smushed in somebody's helmet.
Oh crap! Who was that? I can't remember. Let me look it up.
Oh.
You keep talking.
But you're right. I mean, these are, and I used to say this all the time with the really mental players. You gotta put on some big boy pants here. Like this is your career. This is how you make money. And a lot of these players aren't prepared for a life without football. So
Rashad Johnson, before you keep going, was the guy.
Yeah, it's just, come on now. Especially if you're C.J. Wilson, you're trying to be safe. You're a guy who actually needs your hands to play.
Absolutely.
How are you going to... I guarantee you there's going to be a moment where the ball literally passes where his 2 fingers normally would be.
If he even plays. If he even plays.
I would love to see him play. Just to see it. On the other hand, you have a guy like Jason Pierre-Paul who's... you do need a finger, but you lose 1 finger, you still have the ability to go out and sack people.
Right.
We did see the moment when Clay Matthews had the big club thing on his hand, which made it harder, and fingers are useful. But Pierre-Paul's an established guy, and while it's going to cost him money, and it's probably going to cost him some playing time and the maturity issues, he's still a guy who can go out and do his job probably at 90-95%. Whereas Wilson, there are going to be times, you're going to go up for that ball and you're going to try to catch it, and unless you're Odell Beckham Jr., who caught it with basically like 2-3 fingers, it's going to be really hard for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think going back, the difference of position is what's key here. And first of all, Jason Pierre-Paul lost 1 finger in a position that doesn't need fingers, and then C.J. Wilson lost 2 in a position where fingers are like crucial. I mean, obviously C.J. Wilson was the clear loser here. Jason Pierre-Paul will be okay. I mean, Adam Schefter tweeting that he got his finger amputated was kind of absurd. I think he'll be fine. This is just this is something he will literally have a daily reminder of his stupidity every day. And so will C.J. Wilson.
He got his finger amputated, cool, but the way Adam Schefter made it seem is like, oh no. Oh no.
Did you see James Harrison went ballistic on Adam Schefter?
I did not.
So James Harrison basically went out on social media and was just condemning Adam Schefter for the way he released Jason Pierre-Paul's medical records, saying it was like unprofessional, all this stuff. You should look up the article, but I mean, I kind of agree with him in that Adam Schefter made it seem like, he was losing like an arm. But when I saw all this stuff on the 4th of July, I was just like, a total of 3 fingers between 2 full-grown men playing in the NFL, having the ability to make millions and millions of dollars, just being idiots.
Yeah,
have someone else set up the firework. You're at the position where you play in the NFL, you can literally tell anyone, like, hey, like, go set off that firework for me. Mm-hmm. And no one will ask any questions because you're an NFL player. You are a defensive end. What are they going to do? Say no? And no. Just tell someone else to set up the firework. If you even need the firework that much, just go take your kids to a fireworks show.
Oh, exactly.
Go take your family to a fireworks show. Why do you... putting your hands in jeopardy... And I want to see how this whole thing went down, because, like...
Oh, I would love to.
Right, because, like, did it start to go off and he just keep his hand there? That's one thing I thought about. Second, like, him bringing it out, having no idea it was on, and then it just exploding. Like, any way you draw it up, it's stupid. I mean,
even if you're not an NFL player, this is just common sense. You want your hands. Let's be honest here.
Absolutely.
I would like to know, actually, which hand it's on. If it's on, especially if it's on, like, C.J. Wilson's...
It's his right index finger.
If it's on his dominant hand... If it's on their dominant hand... C.J. Wilson may never be able to write again if it's on his dominant hand.
Yeah. Pierre-Paul, it's his right index finger.
I don't know which hands they use, but that would be an interesting thing to find out. But I don't want a club hand. That's just stupid. If you're not an NFL player, you gotta have more common sense than that. Just, all right, I have a contract. I don't want to lose it. It's like Josh Gordon, who decided to go out and smoke more weed. And while I think weed is not a big issue, to be fair, I think that if this is your career and there are rules about it, you got to be smarter than that. And you got to be like, all right, maybe I should hold off and just not smoke weed in the middle of the season that I just got suspended.
Not even that, but I think it's just common sense for any, like, human being about this whole fireworks thing. Like, if you told a 10 or 12-year-old to, like, go out with dangerous fireworks and, like, jeopardize their fingers, they would say no. Like, if you go up to any person with a decent amount of common sense, they're like, no, I'm not going to risk losing my fingers. Are you kidding me? And then two NFL players are just like, yeah, no, I'm good. And just lose. It's absurd to me. It's absurd.
Yeah. Well, 4th of July went from a celebratory time to...
maybe they were drunk. That's the only explanation.
That's another possibility, which, of course, is just another issue. But,
yeah.
I do think that hopefully we do see NFL players wising up a little bit here.
A little bit, yeah, hopefully.
I'd like them... maybe next year we can reduce it from 3-finger total count to maybe 2. I would like... Nice.
I think it's a steady decline. It's, it takes a lot of awareness. You got to post things in the off-season,
Lost finger awareness.
Protect your hands. Yeah, lost finger awareness in the NFL.
When setting fireworks, make sure to wear lead gloves to make sure that...
absolutely.
But, and this is unfortunate because, the NFL is starting to get a reputation as just a really stupid sport. It's just like the player,
absolutely.
And you do have a lot of intelligent guys, but you have a lot of these players that are just making boneheaded decisions.
No, absolutely,
yeah. And the NFL is a great sport, and it's going to continue to have the support, but kind of ridiculous. And then just to wrap up this whole week, I feel like in sports, we've had a lot of crazy, weird stories going on. First of all, we start off with the ridiculous rules about time extension. We go to DeAndre Jordan to LA, and then you have guys losing their fingers. Overall, quite the week. And that also, I think, is an adequate way to wrap up the show. So, last words?
All I gotta say is this is, the dead zone of the sporting world right now. All that's going on is the MLB. But I'm glad that this week we had, lost fingers and emoji battles to talk about. That was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I've got to say, for a time that is normally pretty boring, I like baseball occasionally, I'll be fair, but for a time that normally isn't the most exciting, we have had probably one of the more entertaining shows and one of the more interesting storylines that I think I've ever had, even in the active time of the year. Last time I had this was Lamar Houston tearing his ACL, jumping. Oh, no. That's another NFL stupid thing. Tearing your ACL jumping. The guy.
I didn't hear that story. What happened?
So he basically so he sacks Rodgers and he jumps and he goes to like.
Oh yeah.
Time and he tears his ACL. It's really funny because actually my grandparents live right next door to him.
Oh no way.
And he's always trying to hide, but it's just these are such stupid things to do. These are just it's like the Kendrick Morales when he broke his leg on a celebration. These are just things that are so avoidable. But
I mean, it's like the guy who sacked Brady on the Bears last year. Same thing. Celebrated and like screwed up his leg.
Oh yeah, and then there's the let's see. We had the moment almost last year where, luckily Justin called the timeout, where Khalil Mack sacks Alex Smith, and him and I forgot who else are just like 10 yards down the field celebrating, and the Chiefs are running their play. It's just a mess.
I know.
But yeah, it's been a pretty entertaining week in sports, and I think this has been a pretty good show overall. Hopefully we'll be back with another one sometime soon. And yeah, that's this is about it.
That's about it.
That's about it.
David Korzanowski signing off here, and we'll be back soon, hopefully with more crazy stories.
Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. And for David Korzanowski, I'm Noah Taborda. Go check out everybody and have a great rest of your night.